It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. He doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons. Fitzy, what's going on, brother?
Another week. Here we go.
It's time.
It's been something. It's been something, and all of a sudden our
Yes,
our
I
intro's
love it.
playing again. So
Live kind of broadcasting. Kind of live broadcasting.
our
Fake,
producer's fired.
we got fake news. We got fake sports. We got fake broadcasts. Here we go.
Our producer's fired. It's the second time he's been fired in 1 week.
Yes. Fire everybody.
We're gonna
Fire.
let everybody go.
There's a lot of buttons we got to press around here. AJ, good morning, fellas. Good morning, AJ. It's a great day to be alive.
It is a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be a Bears fan too, man. There's a lot of good things going on with this Bears football team. We're gonna get to it in a little bit, even though Fitz hates the Bears and he doesn't like when they win, and he hates games that they lose because they have too many turnovers, and you can't have takeaways. If your defense is good, you're not for real. Those are the things that Fitz
Never
doesn't
said the
like.
defense wasn't good, but
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to maybe even talk a little bit about the World Series. But the news that shook the sports world this week shook the sports world. The NBA had two coaches, one active coach, one former coach, and a player arrested by the FBI. And the shocking part to the NBA was not the fact that Terry Rozier had told people to bet his unders and then faked an injury. No. That wasn't the surprise to the NBA. The surprise to the NBA was there was an underground gambling ring, which they don't care about anyway. And they tried to hide the Terry Rozier stuff. All of this has come to light. Now, here's my thing, Fitzy. And I want to get to your Fitz gibberish here because I know you've got one on this topic. The NBA knew about the Terry Rozier stuff and tried to sweep it under the rug. As a gambling person myself, as a guy who works for a sports betting network, Wagertainment Network, for a couple more months anyway, we have to place bets on sports. How does one willingly put their money on the NBA moving forward, knowing that they know that their players are doing this? As a matter of fact, Adam Silver, as we talked about last week, Adam Silver went on to the Pat McAfee show about a week and a half ago. I wonder if he knew this was coming down the line, even though he said he didn't. Bullshit. Anyway,
I mean,
if you put your money on this, knowing the NBA knows that their players, and I don't believe that it's just Terry Rozier. You'd be a fool to believe that it's just Terry Rozier and it's just the coach. I'm gonna forget his name now.
Billups.
Chauncey Billups. You'd be a fool to believe that those are the only two involved. So I believe more names are going to come out. I believe that Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, once they get into an FBI investigative room with lights on them and they get hammered down, are going to talk faster than Tekashi 6ix9ine did. I think more names are going to come out, and I think players in other leagues might even be implicated. Now, that's just my belief. There's no facts there. I using common sense and using what I know in life, and these players know players from other leagues, and there's no way that they didn't. this stuff has come to light. And it's not a surprise that it happened in the NBA. The story is wild. The mafia being involved is wild. But it's not a shock that this happened in the NBA.
No, it's not. And I think it's time for It's Gibberish. It's a diatribe. It's conspiracy theory. And it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. We haven't really said anything yet. So there's nothing to say that is inaccurate. But Mark Twain once said, or may have once said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. The fact that historians are pretty sure Mark Twain never said those words.
Hold on. Look at your screen and look at Doubting Thomas's comment and his new moniker.
Innocent until proven guilty.
And he's got Chauncey Billups at a poker table.
Let the chips fall where they may, Chauncey. Let the chips fall where they may. Anyway, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Even though events in history aren't complete facsimiles, they do resemble each other, create deja vu, and remind us that we haven't changed that much. Take away the flat screens, AC, refrigeration, and the electric slide. And not much has changed since 1910. It's electric. It is. Not much has changed since 1910. We are still a rambling, mongrelized mob of hot fornicating weirdos. Yes. Say that twice. Who can't get enough of new, different, exciting, and manja. More. Like a psychedelic wind chime constantly turning into itself, into infinity. Yes. Whatever that means. Will you get on with it right now? Yes, I might. Why 1910, do I say? Because 1910 was the year the U.S. decided to make gambling illegal. Back then, they released a cleaned up statement on why gambling was made illegal. They said the desire for respectability and recognition of the social ills tied to gaming led to limits on gambling. Transitioning, we the people tend towards being a rambling, mongrelized mob of hot fornicating weirdos. We have talked about it on the show before extensively. In the last few years, I've had gibberishes. Combs just talked about it. There is a reason why a professional team of the big four male sports was never allowed to play home games in Vegas until now. There is a reason why a sports book was not put in the palm of your hand when the iPhone first came out. And there is a reason why the 1919 White Sox were named the Black Sox. Chauncey Billups, who we just named, NBA Hall of Famer, and Terry Rozier, who has averaged 20 points a game before, both will be indicted and were arrested in connection with two separate but related FBI investigations into illegal gambling. Billups, the Portland Trailblazers head coach, is accused of helping to run a mob-backed, rigged high-stakes poker ring. Rozier, the Miami Heat guard, is accused of providing insider information on his own injury for a sports betting scheme. And through a lot of passes that are questionable. If you go look at the 45-second highlight reel of him, that's now on YouTube. If true, they will never be connected with the NBA again. We can also throw in Damon Jones, LeBron James' trainer, who we didn't mention yet. LeBron James' trainer for years is connected to releasing information about LeBron's James and Anthony Davis injuries. For the rest of the country, this was a shock. For the south side of Chicago, where the name Black Sox was born, this is a part of our DNA. Illegal gambling mixes with beef sandwiches, deep dish pizzas, and Guinness to become our lifeblood. And it mixes in with the odor of our cacas, or poop.
Whoa.
Speaking of cacas, I did say the mob with names, including Nelson, a.k.a. Spanish G, Amar Awadi, a.k.a. Flappy, Matthew Dandino, a.k.a. The Wrestler. I don't know why they didn't call him Daddy, but anyway, Eric Ernest, a.k.a. Spook, and Tommy Yes, Tommy the Juice Gelardo. That's just to name a few from all your friends here at WCST. Big swing, Mob. And yes, the pun is intended. That sounds like a cast of the Goodfellas. I thought the Costa Nostra was completely extinguished. This was coordinated, organized, and very lucrative. Good work. Yes, the talking heads are circling the drain on this one too. Here's Stephen A. Smith on what he thinks is the cause of these indictments.
You know what world that I live in terms of politics? How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you guys there.
Anyway, Stevens, you sound like a guy and a representative of a 4-letter station that is afraid their FanDuel money is going to dry up, because it probably is, folks. Look, I don't want to take away your gambling and make it illegal, but if you make gambling this accessible and widespread, you get fake sports. It happened 100 years ago, and it's happening again. We act like we're so different because we can go on our gadget and make a bet. Look at me, everybody. I have a 10-game parlay that I have a better chance of being struck by lightning in the middle of the desert than winning. With Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz about to be banned from baseball, there's only 2 sports left, and I am not thinking about hockey. You guessed it. The sport that practically invented modern sports betting, the NFL. Something is coming for football next, and it's not Trump. It's destiny. Does that rhyme, Combs?
I just before I respond to your Fitz gibberish, okay? I want the mafia to know that the thoughts of Fitz gibberish are those of Ryan Fitzgibbons, and do not reflect anybody else associated with Windy City Sports Talk. We had some stuff going on while you were doing the Fitz gibberish.
Michael, please.
Jeremiah said they've always been doing this. They're getting caught because of legalized gambling. That's partly true. I agree with that sentiment. John asked that you put those pictures behind you closer together, if you could. Jeremiah said, "Thank you, Johnny. I knew I wasn't the only one thinking it." And then I looked at it and I'm like, wow. Those pictures behind him are awfully close together.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I only have so much wall here. like what did I even, I can't even get to it. You're a rambling mongrelized mob of hot fornicating weirdos out there. That's you and Johnny and Jeremiah.
John says, say Italian words right, for Christ's sake. So they were paying attention to everything that you said, clearly.
Good.
So, look, first of all, the Stephen A. Smith stuff is stupid. I mean, the fact that, the fact that you go out there and you want to make this a political thing, which ESPN has been, I mean, they are one of the most political sports stations out there, and they have been for quite a while. And so it doesn't surprise me that they put that type of stuff on there. Most of us, we do try to stray away from the political side. Whichever way we lean is our own business, and we talk about sports. We don't talk about politics too much. But to put this on a presidency as opposed to athletes and coaches who are being paid millions and millions of dollars a year to play their game or cheating at their game is crazy to me. And look, I don't think legalized gambling is going away. As a matter of fact, I think it'll get bigger. I don't think people are going to stop putting their money on the NBA. I think people will continue to do so. I don't think that this is just a new thing. I don't think this happened because of legalized gambling. I don't think this happened because you made it more centralized and you allowed more people access to it. I don't think any of that stuff happened.
I disagree, but go on.
How? I mean, this stuff was going on in the 1920s, this stuff with the illegal gambling rings and the Terry Rozier stuff. I mean, this stuff was happening in the 90s before legalized sports betting.
I think when you legalize something, you say it's okay. I think this is
right, but it's still not okay to fix your league.
And people go legally, like gambling. I'm gambling on this. I'm gambling on that. I'm gambling. You put it out there into the ether, and people are going to start gambling all over the place. It's going to seep into sports. It's not. You can't separate corruption. You can't put barriers around it other than making it illegal. I mean, you can't do that. You can't. And I'm sorry. People can yell at me about a false equivalency all they want. You can't make painkillers basically legal and then think you aren't going to have an opiate problem in your country. You can't make gambling basically legal and think you're not going to have a gambling problem in your country or in your sports. It's not going to happen. There's gambling addicts and they get taken advantage of. And this is exactly what happens. And then power gets involved and all this happens. There was a lot. I listened to a lot and read a lot of sports articles. There was a lot of good articles written on this. There was a lot of bad articles written on this. There's a lot of bad sports radio on this that wants you to look away from this.
Well,
but
yeah.
This is what started to run sports. And when this starts to run sports, and that's legal gambling too, which we've talked about many times. When more money is on one team than the other, it seems like a lot of the refs' flags in NFL goes towards the team that has less money on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it seeps in. It seeps into the sport. I'm sorry, it does. There's nothing else you could say about it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's going to make for fake sports. And then you're going to have fake sports.
Well, you already a lot of people, I'm not saying you in general, but you already had a group of people that already believed that a lot of this stuff is rigged. You have people who believe the NFL is rigged, people who believe baseball is rigged, people who believe the NBA is rigged. And you know what? You can probably get to some players and you can probably get to some officials, which is why, in some sports it's going to be easier than others. It's easier to rig the NBA with players than it is Major League Baseball or the NFL. But you can still get to officials. I mean, do you believe that you have all of these major league umpires that just don't understand what the strike zone is? Do you believe that you have all of these NFL officials that don't know what the spread is or what the over under is or what the total is supposed to be? Or you know what I mean? So yeah, I do believe there is a lot of that to some extent. And I agree with you, but it's not going to change. America's
I'm not
need to make more money and the need for greed. I mean, people gamble on WWE. You could bet on the WWE, and that's a scripted sport.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a longer conversation that we can't have in one show, or a 5-minute Fitzgibberish, or however long it was. That we cannot have the conversation of how this gets fixed. Well, all I'm saying is the toothpaste is out of the tube, and this probably was a very and probably calculated mistake. I mean, there's a sense here. I mean, you allow this to happen. You allow a team to be basically in Vegas. It's right off the strip. You go to Vegas now, and actually the Vegas tourism is down 40%. Why is that? You went to Vegas. When I used to go to Vegas, one of the charms of Vegas was not only did I get to bet on poker and stuff like that, it was there was a sports book there. There was no sports books anywhere else. less and less people are going to Vegas. So there's a crazy shift happening in this country. And there's so many rules that even these athletes don't know about or when they can bet. I mean, it happened to the Detroit Lions a couple of years ago and their players not knowing that they could bet in certain areas or what they could do. I mean, betting, you make it more widespread and there's going to be corruption all over the place. I mean, and to say that there's not anybody who like Stephen A. Smith who tries to make it political, that's a bunch of bull. That is a bunch of bull. He is trying to turn it into something else political because he can't have a sport that he talks probably 70 or 80% of. He talks about the NBA. I mean, that's how he grew up. He grew up in the NBA. He can't have that sport be fake. And I'm not just talking about players who make millions of dollars either. You can have, I mean, there's so much disparity in the NFL from the bottom to the top to where you could have a guy playing lineman, backup lineman for the Chiefs making $500,000 a year who could throw a game for you.
Well, it's not like this is the first time this has happened in the NBA either, which is why, like, when guys like Stephen A. try to make it political, it's like, well, I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened with that sport. And then to know that they knew about the Terry Rozier stuff when it happened and tried to sweep it under the rug, according to Brian Windhorst, is another thing, right? Like, you watch these guys and you watch these leagues, and I mean, that's why look. I'm not going to sit there and throw shade, but I mean, we remember when Jordan took 2 years off to go play baseball, right?
Yeah.
We remember the circumstances.
Pitchers that are so close together changed. Behind me, and I got the Bulls championship behind me. I took off the White Sox championship.
And look, I don't know for certain, but there's a lot of things that line up with the Jordan thing, with the time that he took off to go play baseball, with the unfortunate death of his father and the way that all went down.
Yeah,
I mean, do you start to wonder? You have to wonder when you think about it and you look at the order of everything. How much play did the Mafia have in that?
Yeah.
And was that part of what happened? And it's always been a rumor. It's always been a thing. And we'll never know because that's part of it. But that's also part of the allure to sports. Look, I'm not going to not be a fan of the league just because of something like this, because it was something that I already assumed was going on.
Yeah, but man, there's a difference between assuming something's happening and actually finding out that something is actually happening. There's a difference between saying, yeah, maybe there's some corruption there. It seems like something's going on there, and then finding out about it. Think about the guys, John Fitzgibbons. Think about the guys who bet the house on Hulk Hogan back in the day. I mean, who knew the Ultimate Warrior would beat him?
Well, that's the crazy thing. Like right now, you can on offshore betting places, you can actually go and bet who John Cena's final opponent is going to be. You can go and bet who's going to win John Cena's final match. You can go and bet the results to WWE pay-per-views. And you know that this stuff is scripted, but you can still bet it.
Yeah, I'm not really talking about like people's motivations on why they bet or what they do. I'm basically saying that this thing was coming eventually. And I don't think it would have happened 10, 15 years ago. Do I think there was stuff happening? Yes, but I don't think there was things happening like this. I don't think a guy's going to fake an injury because there's parlay bets or betting is so huge now that you have a bet on Terry Rozier, whether he's going to be injured or not, or how many minutes he's going to play.
You can bet on which NBA player will be arrested next. You can gamble on the illegal gambling ring.
I mean, you even have a guy in baseball who's the best player in the league, at least now. We could talk about his greatness all time, who was obviously betting. I mean, do you really think he was just letting his trainer take millions of dollars from him and betting on a bunch of different sports? I mean, I'm telling you, you can't do this. You can't
He
make
went the Ray
gambling.
Lewis route and had a friend take a fall for him.
There is a reason why sports was separated from gambling or tried to be for so long. There was a reason for it. I mean, and it's an ancient reason that's like tied into our DNA. I mean, that was the point that we have a tendency to be this way as human beings, and you might as well just try to separate it. Once those lines blur, it's over. Yeah, it's over. Something catastrophic will have to happen, like the 1919 World Series. Something like that will have to happen before sports turn around again. I mean, this is a freight train going into a wall, and there's a lot of sports people acting like nothing happened. And I'm sorry, nothing didn't happen. This is the story. This is the sports story. And you can call me melodramatic. I don't really care. This is the sports story of the decade, at least. I mean, I'm sorry, it is. And it started with that Sports Illustrated story we talked about months ago, which I couldn't dig up because it was taking me, I tried for hours, but I couldn't dig up, that we talked about 2-3 months ago. It didn't even start with that. It started years ago. I mean,
and when this story first broke, my initial reaction was that the NBA was done. Like, I don't know how the NBA recovers from this. But then as more and more information came out and I thought about it and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, the NBA knew this isn't going to kill the NBA. The NBA is going to actually thrive off of this. What are the odds that Rye could fit another picture in there? I'm gonna go 3-1 because they're like right underneath that football.
He could 3-1.
He could probably. Oh, see, there you go. You could probably fit at least a 3x5 in there in a frame, maybe a 5x7.
Let's hit one over here.
Yeah, right underneath the football is what I said.
Under the football, yes, but then on the side of the Fitzgibbon shield too.
He's actually got one behind his head that we just can't see because his head's so big.
This is the third, fourth show I've had this background. John's finally figuring it out. Cool.
He works a lot. You got to forgive the guy. You know.
You're right. He's the only guy. He's the only guy that works.
Yeah, and he's the only guy that doesn't know how to press playback on shows on YouTube.
No, he only can watch live.
Can't be bothered to go and do that.
You can only watch
available. Yeah.
Listen, YouTube. This show is only accessible live. It gets burned after every taping. Fly Eagle.
I'm working now. Getting paid by the city to watch Combs and Fitz Windy City Sports Talk. I love it. All right.
I think we that subject matter out.
Yeah, let's move past the NBA. Let's talk about the World Series real quick before we get into football. The first two games, incredible. The first game did not see coming from the Blue Jays. I thought they might be able to steal one. I didn't think that it would be the first one. And the way they won was the offense just exploded. And the one thing that I believed and the one thing that I said was the way to get to this Dodgers team is to get into that bullpen. Because if you can get past the starters and you can get into that bullpen that it hasn't been very good all year, even in the playoffs, the bullpen itself beyond, and I'm not talking about when they put Yamamoto in as closer, or when they work out one of their starters as a middle reliever, but their actual bullpen pitchers have not been very good, and the bullpen gave up a ton of runs in game one. The Dodgers did not go that route in game two, and they found a way to win that game 5-1. So, you surprised that we're 1-1 heading to LA?
I'm actually not shocked. I mean, I had the Blue Jays making the World Series after we got into the playoffs, and the Boston Red Sox were gone in the first, I guess you can call that the first round. So yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays are one of the better contact hitting teams in the last 5 years. You might have another one of these where the Blue Jays just go off. I mean, they are a really good contact hitting team. They got that young pitcher, Trey. I can't think of his last name, but anyway, who's been ridiculous. I mean, he had 10, 11 strikeouts against the Yankees, who have pretty good lineup. They strike out a lot, but yeah. Savage or whatever his name, whatever.
Savage.
Yes, Savage. Yeah. great young pitcher. So, I mean, you have that. That sometimes is enough to keep you in a 7-game series and, maybe even strike, maybe being the underdog, which they are the underdog. The Dodgers, really almost like an NBA team, really turned it on in the playoffs here. It's like they knew they were going to make the playoffs all year. So it was like, all right, we can have a terrible second half and still just have what's been a great playoffs. I think the Toronto Blue Jays have a chance of winning this series. I really do. For those reasons, a contact hitting team is a tough team to beat. It really is. And it's very unpredictable. When you have a strikeout hitting team, you need those home runs. You don't get those, you're in trouble. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to have the same trouble as, even though Milwaukee, pretty good contact hitting team is, themselves. I don't think they're gonna have the same trouble Milwaukee had with the Dodgers. So we'll see. I still think the Dodgers are gonna win this one, but 6 or 7. I mean, I think the Blue Jays win another game at least.
I would love to see it. I mean, I would love to see a 7-game series. I would love to see, a team like the Blue Jays win, not because I want, baseball's America's pastime and I don't want the champion to be from Canada, but I mean, it's fine. And I sit there and I listen to a lot of people talk about, oh, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. How can anybody? I've always hated that. I've hated it from, when they were paying players. Your team had a chance to pay those players too. And I wish the Cubs were the Dodgers. So I'm not going to just root against the Dodgers just because they spend a lot of money. I just want to see a good series. I always like more baseball, so 7 games would be perfect for me.
Yeah, it would be great.
Let's move over to the NFL. Some sad news actually just broke while we were on air. Nick Mangold, the former offensive lineman for the Jets, has died at the age of 41 after a short battle with a rare liver disease. They were just talking about ESPN. Obviously, his former coach, Rex Ryan, is on the ESPN pregame show. And tough news, man. 41 years old. Nick Mangold, a staple of watching, and the AFC on CBS whenever they would show Jets games and seeing Nick Mangold and his long hair out there. So sad news for him, man. So thoughts out to his family.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's you watch some of these athletes and you see a lot of them. I mean, they just had another one who died in police custody. Who's 36 years old the other day. So it's crazy watching these guys, die so young after leaving the NFL. So tough stuff. Never an easy way to segue from that, but we do have the NFL. We do have Week 8 this week, and it's not a great slate of games. A lot of tough calls. For when we go through our ATS and the scores. But let's talk about the Bears right now, man, because we will do a Bears post game show today as well after the game today. We will do Bears post game, and so we'll have all of our thoughts on what happens today. But we did Bears post game last week as well, and Ryan hates the fact that the Bears won. And Ryan hates the fact that the Bears have a good defense and is able to create turnovers because he doesn't think they can do it every week.
I want to have your damn narrative.
I'm just saying. At some point,
kidney disease, probably from all the painkillers he took. I hate to bring back up that.
It's tough. Doug Martin, the muscle hamster, says Jeremiah Murray. That was the name of the player who died in police custody.
Yeah.
But the Bears, you look at this team, and they're going into today. They thought they were going to be playing against a healthy Lamar Jackson in the return of Lamar Jackson off the hamstring injury. Turns out that is not the case. And they will be playing against Snoop Huntley and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Bears themselves have their own issues with injuries, right? Tyreek Stevenson will not play today. They just placed Kyler Gordon back on injured reserve, so he's out for at least the next 4 weeks. You just lost Braxton Jones to injured reserve, which not that big of a loss because Theo Benedette is your left tackle anyway. And you watch this team, and even though last week they struggled to score, and you had a struggling offense, and your offensive line played terrible. Caleb did not have a great game, which he recognized and he talked about, which I love that from that kid.
He said he didn't have a good game.
Yeah. So you look at all of that, and they still won, and they still put up 25 points. And you're like, okay, if you had a bad day and you're able to do that, once this team gets rolling and this team has good days consistently, it's going to be a tough team to deal with. And I think that's what this team is. I still think 8 to 9 wins. If they win today, they're going to be 5-2. I like the Bears today. I like this team today. I mean, if Caleb can't outduel Snoop Huntley, regardless of the injuries on defense, we're going to have a different conversation, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are already halfway off of the Caleb Williams train, Ryan Fitzgibbons, that are going to be a little bit more off of the Caleb Williams.
I am not off the Caleb Williams train. Don't listen to the man. Don't look at the bright lights and the colorful images that he has going across the screen. That is not true. I am not.
And pictures that are well separated.
I'm not gone on Ben Johnson either. I mean, it's 7 games in. I don't think the story is written on him yet, but an offensive coordinator who is an offensive coordinator that comes in to be your head coach and who the defense is carrying you through some wins. I've heard this story before. Just saying. I've heard it before. I've heard this story before. Matt Nagy, who has loud post-game, celebratory locker room speeches. It's happened before. I'm not saying Ben Johnson.
The Titans, Matt Nagy?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Can Tennessee get that? Can Tennessee make that? I guess they could. I think they're the worst team in the league, so maybe they could. Let's look at the facts as they're laid out. You have 4 turnovers. You win by at least 3 turnovers in all these games. You beat a really bad Raiders team by 1 point and a blocked field goal at the end, by the way. Although I think the Bears probably go downfield and win that game. But anyway, and then, you win by 1 point the next. And then you beat a Saints team who you definitely have the turnover. You kick 4 field goals against this team. I mean, where you could have put the game away. You really could. You were at 2014 for a good while in that third quarter. All I'm saying is it doesn't look great. Yeah, they won 4 games in a row. And yeah, I want the Bears to do well. I want them to win, but I need more indications here that things are going to go better. And a hurt secondary doesn't, instill a lot of confidence. Fitz will say they only won today because Lamar Jackson is out. I will say that. Guess who else will say that? Jerk off. Vegas will say that as well, because the lines the spread went from -6.5 to -2.5 when that came out. When the news came out, it was at -6.5. So that's 4 points, which is a world away in betting, as we all know. Back to the gambling.
Bears are still plus money, and you can even get the +2.5 at +100 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, plus money, plus points is crazy.
Yeah, it is. You're right. But I mean, they're going into Baltimore today. I think it's going to be a problem there. I actually still think the Bears do win this game. I think there's other games that are a little bit more trappy coming up for sure, and a tougher schedule down the line. I don't know. I really, it's hard for me to make an assessment of the team right now. They're going to have to be carried eventually by this offense. And it doesn't look like this offense can carry them. And if anybody comes on here and wants to comment that it looks like they do, then they're obviously lying. And they got rose-colored glasses on. I'm sorry.
I like this team even with Lamar playing. I like the Bears against Baltimore, even with Lamar playing, because Lamar has a propensity to turn the ball over. He
Bears
has problems fumbling the ball. He throws you can make Lamar turn the ball over. And Lamar coming off of a hamstring injury, you have to think that the use of his legs would have been limited. So I like them even with Lamar at quarterback. I like them more with Snoop Huntley at quarterback. But I think the Bears win this game outright. I really do. I think this team is still good enough. I do like the fact that you're getting some of these other players that are coming back that are healthy. You're doing a lot of things that the Bears. I think that the Bears they don't make the same mistakes on offense multiple times, other than calling screen passes in the same formation all the time. I still don't understand.
Or what about the speed option on the 1 yard line where your entire offensive line is on the ground? How's that? Is that a good play or?
Isn't that from last year?
It is, but still, it's Bears. It's Bears. Bears are gonna bear.
But it's a different coach team. I think this Bears offense shows up today. I think they put up 30+ points.
And I sure hope
this Ravens defense is terrible. They are not very good. They allow and I think they're going to do a lot with the run game today. I think Monunga is going to be a huge part of today's game. I think Swift. The Ravens do not. I believe they're allowing the most rush yards per game. I believe they've allowed the most rushing touchdowns. And the Bears running game has been really good over the last couple of weeks.
No, I mean, that's the brightest spot. And that's what we thought we were going to get when Ben Johnson came over here. And it's been completely turned around. Yeah. I mean, that has been a bright spot. You start putting that on tape, the passing game better come around. But you can't have a quarterback throwing for 58% completion rating. I know he's not at 58% completions, but he was, he's at like 61% for the year. But the last couple of weeks, he's at 58, 57%. You can't have a quarterback doing that. He needs to be more accurate.
Yeah, and he recognizes
offense, or it's this, or it's that. There's open throws he's missing. I mean, there is.
And I think that he notices that. And I think that he understands that part of it as well, because he's one of those guys that right now you're looking at and you're like, man, he needs to be better. But even he has said that he needs to be better. Even he has said, hey, this has to change. I have to be better. And I think that that's what they focus on. I think that he tries. And I'm not saying that he's a bust, and I'm not saying that he's everything that you thought you were going to get out of a quarterback yet. But I think that he's still a quarterback that's still developing in a season where we talked about this before. You have to treat this like it's his rookie season. You just do. And I know that they drafted him number 1 overall, and I know that we also know that they did it the wrong way from the very beginning. This whole process was broken. And Caleb is in his rookie year, and he's learning another new offense with his third coordinator in his second season. So, yes, it's going to take some time, but I think that you've seen signs of improvement. I think you've seen signs of what this can be. And, yes, he's still going to have those games where it's like, man, that looked really bad. He's still going to make those decisions where you're like, just throw the ball, Caleb. But for the most part, they figured this thing out. And for the most part, despite having games where Caleb is less than accurate, despite having games where Caleb isn't carrying this offense, when he doesn't, the run game picks him up, the defense picks him up, and they find a way to win the football game. And we say it time and time again. We say it about other teams. I don't think we say it about the Bears, because we know what this franchise has been, and we're so used to waiting for this team to crumble that we don't give it the credit. But that's what good teams do. Good teams find a way to win football games. And it doesn't matter whether you win by 1 or whether you win by 30. A win in the National Football League is a win.
I think more so with him, if I had to give him an accolade, I think in the fourth quarter and in most of the game, I feel safe with him with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Don't think he puts the ball under harm a lot. Now, there can be criticism that he's checking down a lot. He's not just reading and reacting as much. And I think that's a development thing. But I think when he has the ball in his hands, it just doesn't seem like he's going to have that fumble or that, watch it happen this game, or that interception that's going to really cost them in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's why I think that Raiders game was one of the best games I've seen him play, because he was rattled in that game, and it was obvious he was rattled. And even you got Max Crosby, who might be one of the best defensive ends in the league, or at least in the conversation. God, I mean, that would be great. The guy's a monster. Even he had accolades for Caleb Williams. That's why I thought that was a really good game for him. I never felt when he came downfield to give the Bears the lead there, like he was going to mess up. I just didn't feel that way. It didn't seem that way. I know he's had a couple of kind of bad picks this year, but really most of the time, I don't think he's going to make those mistakes. I don't think he's going to have those plays when it comes down to it. And that's something almost I just don't think you can teach. I mean, I think some guys they're just going to throw a lot of interceptions, have a lot of fumbles, and it's very hard to clean all that up. And I think he's been really good in that respect.
Yeah, we talked about whether or not he would be the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history. I still think he will be. I don't know if it'll be this year, though. I mean, only 1,300 yards through the first 6 games. You're going to need a couple of 300, 350, 400-yard passing games in there in order to get to that 4,000 mark.
A lot anymore. Not to
no, it doesn't, because they you don't see. I mean, even when you look at the passing games nowadays, you're looking at guys like Patrick Mahomes, who a lot of people think is the best quarterback in football right now. You look at him, and he doesn't pass for 400 yards anymore. You look at Josh Allen, who's considered by many to be the second best quarterback in the National Football League right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of 350, 400-yard passing games. So I don't know if that's going to happen that way. He's averaging about 225 per game. Does have 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And then I believe he's got, I want to say how many more on the ground. I think he's got 2 more touchdowns on the ground. So 11 total touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I think that this Bears team is on its way. I think this Bears team is doing good things. I'm definitely with them today. You want to get into our ATS picks?
Let's do it. Do we have music?
Are you leading the charge?
Yes, I will lead the charge.
We have 6 teams on a bye this week.
6 teams on a bye. God, I should check my fantasy team. No, I don't think I was all good on it. But yeah,
it's crazy. The Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jaguars all on a bye.
Jeesh.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Jaguars play anyway. But anyway, let's go. It's week 8 in the NFL. The New York Jets go. And can they win their first game of the season against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati? The spread is -5.5. I'm going to give you go first, Combs. Who do you got? New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals going into Cincinnati.
This is such a gross game with a gross spread. This is one of those games where I don't trust the Jets to not lose by at least a touchdown, but I don't trust the Bengals to win by at least a touchdown. This one is tough.
Yeah,
Jets on the road. I mean, I'm gonna run. I think the Bengals win this one. I'll give up the points in this one, even though I'm not confident about it. I think there is a world where I can see the Jets covering, but we talk about the Jets, and Justin Fields has 845 yards passing this season. I mean, come on, this Jets team is bad. So I'll take the Bengals -5.5.
I mean, the Bengals did beat the Steelers. They sort of have a kind of a bye week right now. Did they play? They played the Steelers on a Thursday night game. I'm going to take the Bengals here, even with the -5.5. I'm done with the Jets after last week. I had them winning their first game. I'm done. Forget about it. I'm also done with Justin Fields. All right, Doubting Thomas, take your victory dance, you jerk off. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. You want to do the Bears now? I have the next game slotted as the Chicago Bears.
No, we'll save that for last.
We'll save that for last. All right. Well, okay. We got the Miami Dolphins, your other favorite team, going into Atlanta, hot Atlanta, at -6.5 in this game. That is your spread against the Miami Dolphins. Is this Mike McDaniel's last game?
I mean, Mike McDaniel's last game should have been 3 games ago, but I don't know if this is his last game. But I also give me the Falcons. Because this is the Dolphins are a crap show, to say the least. They are terrible, and it's not going to get any better. Do I think it's all on Mike McDaniels? No, I think it's on the fact that Tua's not a real NFL quarterback. I think it's on the fact that they had a wide receiver that was tearing up the locker room. I think the culture is bad. I think that everything that they got, they need a complete overhaul in Miami. So there's no chance that I take them.
All right, just cycling through these comments. Don't make me unsubscribe from Doubting Thomas. John says Jets. And then Doubting Thomas says, don't they drug test you on the job, John? And then John says, shut up, geek. So there's more fights going on in the comment section.
Doubting Thomas won't unsubscribe because Doubting Thomas needs us.
Speaking of doubts, your Carolina Panthers are hosting the Buffalo Bills this week. I will take they're +7.5.
A team that hasn't lost at home all season long. They're -0 at home.
I'm going to do something crazy and jump on your little bandwagon, I guess, and take the Carolina Panthers in this game +7.5 at home. Come on.
Yeah. Look, I was on the Panthers, and then Bryce Young got hurt, and it's Andy Dalton as their quarterback today.
I know this.
I can't take the Panthers, especially in a game where the Bills are coming off of a bye week, where they've had a rough go at it. I just think that this Bills team is wants to make a statement, and I think they can do it today against Carolina. I think Josh Allen has a big day. I think James Cook has a big day. I think this team is good. I think the Panthers are getting there. And I thought maybe they were further along than what they are, but without Bryce Young, man, I don't know what this team is.
I don't think Bryce Young is that good. That's my difference between me and you. That's the difference between me and you. Anyway, moving on, the San Francisco 49ers going into Houston. Houston is a surprising 2-4. No one really surprised that the San Francisco 49ers are 5-2. Houston is -2.5 at home.
The wrong team's favorite here. I mean, the Niners are 5-2. The Texans are 2-4, and they're the favorite. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, I mean they're at home, but doesn't mean
give me the
lot.
Niners. Give me Christian McCaffrey and the boys. Christian McCaffrey to have another big day against this Texans defense. I like the Niners today.
Can I have it?
One over here, say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me get you in a few minutes, okay?
You should let him make it your picks. They're probably
He should probably make the picks, but I actually agree with you here. I got the Niners all day. The New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles revenge game go into Philadelphia. After beating Philadelphia just a couple weeks ago, Philadelphia Eagles -7.5 at home. Is this the Eagles revenge game? Baseball on the brain. Revenge game here. Combs, what say ye?
Maybe they should get some of the Phillies. They might score more points. I like the Giants +7.5 in this game. I know how they lost against Denver last week. I know that they gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter after Denver hadn't scored in the first 3 quarters, and they lose that game 33-32. But they still put up 32 points in Denver against a really good defense. This Eagles team has not been playing very well, with the exception of last week. The offense finally figured something out. I don't think it's not consistent enough for me to figure that they can win this game by more than a touchdown. I think the Eagles win, but I think the Giants cover.
Yeah, Eagles have been in a lot of close games today. Hate to agree with you again, or this year. I don't think they win by more than a touchdown against the Giants, who have a pretty decent defense. So I agree with you there. Giants will at least cover the spread, but probably don't win. Cleveland going into your son's New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are -7.5 against the Browns, and the Browns, good defense, -7.5. I'm going to take the New England Patriots again this week. What say ye, Mr. Combs?
Yeah, it seems like we have a lot of synergy because I'm taking the Patriots in this game too. Look, I think Quinshon Judkins can still have a good game. I think Quinshon Judkins can still rush for 100 yards, but he has to get in the end zone another 3 times in order for this game to even be close. I think that the Patriots can score. I think Drake May has shown that he's the real deal. Stephon Diggs has been turning it on. They've got a 2-headed monster at running back with Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. So I like the Patriots in this game as well, -7.5.
Yeah. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay dropped a game against Detroit last year. I had them last week. But going into New Orleans here, we watched New Orleans last week. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll take 2 picks in a row from you here. I like Baker Mayfield. I think this might be a mini revenge game for the Buccaneers. What say ye, Mr. Combs?
I am also on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's one of those weeks where we're going to agree a lot because some of these games are just terrible.
Yeah.
But I like the Buccaneers too. Baker Mayfield has been a dog all year. I think should be the leading candidate for MVP this season. The way that he has performed, especially in the fourth quarter of games, I think they win this game by a touchdown, if not 10.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not going far. I mean, New Orleans, come on.
A lot of injuries on the wide receiver core for Tampa, but I think they'll be fine.
I want to say this next game is the biggest spread of the year, but refresh my memory. -14.5 Tennessee Titans. I think the worst team in the league going in to play the Indianapolis Colts, who are the best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
The Bills, I believe, were a 16-point favorite when they went up against the Saints.
Correct.
Did not cover, by the way.
Almost lost that game.
Yeah, in a divisional game too. Look, I think the Colts win. I actually think they cover the spread too. I think at some point you have to stop thinking that Daniel Jones and the Colts are going to wake up and be Daniel Jones and the Colts again, because this team has shown week in and week out they are leading the league in scoring. They are scoring 37 points a game. This offense is really good. Tyler Warren should have been a Bear. Is the real deal. You look at the stuff that they've got, going on with Jonathan Taylor and the way things are working with that passing game. I mean, Daniel Jones has 1,800 yards passing already. 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. At some point, you are who you are, and right now the Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL. I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, and they might have, with Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in the league. Right. I mean, this year so far. Yeah. I mean, not Saquon Barkley. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, watch the guy run. He ran all over the Bears last year, and the Bears couldn't really do much about it. And the Bears had a decent defense in the beginning of the year last year, and he's just been great. Yeah, I mean, I hate the Tennessee Titans, and if they get Matt Nagy, I mean, I'm going to hate him even more. I think the Colts cover, and they're all over the Titans this week. Dallas going into Denver. The Denver Broncos, who gave up that giant lead and last week to the Giants, have the Dallas Cowboys coming into Denver. I'm taking Denver here at -3.5. I don't think that's a big enough spread in this game. What say you?
I think you're crazy. I'm betting Cowboys money line. I am betting Cowboys the plus the 3.5 because you're going to give it to me. I'm going to bet the over in this game, excuse me, and I think the Dallas Cowboys score a ton of points in this game. You look at what the New York Giants were able to do to this to this defense last week, and I don't think it's any different I think you got a much more talented offense with the Dallas Cowboys. I think you're going to have a big day from Dak. I think you're going to have a big day from CeeDee Lamb. I think you're going to have a big day from George Pickens. I think the Cowboys win this game, and to be honest with you, I think the spread is in the opposite direction. I think the Cowboys should be a 3.5-point favorite.
Because can somebody check if Matt Eberflus got another haircut? Because I know you love.
What did Bo Nix do for 3 quarters last week?
I know what you were a Bo Nix guy last year. I don't know what happened.
I know.
Okay,
I'm out on him.
Okay, your Green Bay Packers, Combsy, going into Pittsburgh.
I'll
Is
kill you.
this the Aaron Rodgers revenge game? Is it? Is it?
He says it's not. He says he has no hatred towards
He
the
says
Green
a
Bay
lot of
Packers.
things. He says he likes to get you in touch
He
with
says
it.
there's no love lost, and I love the way that he used those words. No love lost with Jordan Love being the Packers quarterback.
Oh, boy.
I think this is the pack. I don't know if you know this, but Jordan Love averages a 115 passer rating on Sunday Night Football. Jordan Love has had 4 straight games with passer ratings over 120 on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I got to
Jordan
see
Love
who he
balls
played.
out on Sunday Night Football. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I'll give up the points.
I got to see who he played. I think 6 years in the league and you're still the same quarterback you were when you first started. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not as in on the Green Bay Packers as you are. I think Pittsburgh plays an interesting, confusing defense. I think he throws a pick or two in this game, and I think Pittsburgh wins outright.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I'm rooting against him, but I'm not picking against him.
Okay. Going to Monday night. You only have one Monday night game this week. Probably all the byes have something to do with that. The Washington Commanders, the falling Washington Commanders after they played the Chicago Bears, going to Kansas City. Kansas City is minus 11.5 here.
Chiefs by 50. I don't even need your pick. Chiefs by 50. Give me the Chiefs.
I
don't
agree.
care what the spread is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think the Chiefs win this.
Daniels is out.
5-3. Yeah.
Marcus Mariota is going to compete. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Mariota did, I think, have a good game last time he was in, and it's something I kept saying when they played the Commanders a couple weeks ago, and people said when he came out, when Jaden Daniels came out, look at how slight he looks, and look at the hits he takes and doesn't get away from. Yeah. Especially when you had a quarterback on the other side, where I think Caleb Williams has a good way of getting away from hits, even though he was sacked more than I think any rookie ever. But I really think, I think there's going to be more and more injuries for Jaden Daniels. I don't think this guy has a 15, 20-year career in the NFL. I think that's a bigger problem for the Commanders to face, but I don't think the Commanders are a very good team. I did not really totally see that coming. You had that from the start of the season. I did not. So I'll give you props on that, which is like puking like Danny DeVito.
Bears are about to kick off. I'm taking the Bears plus the 2.5. I think they
win. Oh, yeah, Bears. I forgot about Bears. I'm taking the Bears, too. So how about that? Why don't you get over yourself over there, Chris Collins?
All right, we're going to take off. We're going to go watch football. We're going to let you guys go watch football. We will be back after the Bears game to do Bears post game. So join us for that as well. Come give us your thoughts on the game. Give us your thoughts on the Bears to this point in the season. And we will see you guys after that, as there's a flag already thrown on the opening kickoff.
What?
I mean,
what new?
I mean, just shocking stuff here. Shocking developments. But all right, we will see you guys till next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. Have a good one.